Hello everybody, Ben here, and today is my review of Dapol's N Terrier, this time though in the Marsh Umber Brown. The version I got was 2S-012-014, Terrier A1 Gypsy Hill 643 Marsh Umber Brown. The minimum radius is R1 or 9-inch curves. Included in the box is this small detail pack full of sort of dummy couplings, and the screw link couplings obviously aren't proper screw link, but you also get these couplings here, which I believe are Dapol Easy Shunt couplings. I'm not too sure about that, but it's stored in the block of ice packaging, and then once you get it out you can realise actually how small a Terrier is. Before getting this model I never actually realised how small the Terriers were. I knew they were sort of small locos, but I never realised how actually small they are compared to others that I have. For example, say the Dapol pannier tank here, which is massive compared to the tiny Terrier, and it's quite a lot longer. And imagine a Ginty, which I believe is an even bigger tank engine to the pannier. That would be even more, that would be massive compared. Even Rodney, which is my fictional loco, on the same chassis, it almost looks a bit comically too tall compared to all of these locos, but I think it looks alright. But you can see it's on the same chassis, but it's still about double the height almost, it looks. I don't know really if that would be actually the case, but you can see the back of the cab's nearly on the top of that one, so that maybe is a bit out of scale. But it just shows how small the Terrier is, even though Rodney's on the same chassis. As you can see here, they're in the sort of same length that the Rodney one, which is on the right. Starting off at the front of the model on the smoke box, we've got the Smokebox Star handrail, the number plate, which I believe is only for the BR versions, and the Smokebox Dart, as well as other rivets. And we've also got buffers, which are very sort of unusual because they're actually on the buffer beam, and you've also, which is the same on the other side, and you've also got the sort of dummy coupling hook and the vacuum pipes there as well. Now this model is fitted with NEM pockets, which means if you put in the Dapol Easy Shunt couplings, they can then be used for shunting, and I think it's a bit easier to use these for shunting. I don't know if they're magnetic or not, but it's just nice to have them, and you can always fit them in if you want. On the side of the model you've got the sort of condensing apparatus and the sort of pipe there, as well as the sandboxes and the wheel arch, which all looks quite nice there, and that is exactly the same on the other side. There's no particular sort of unevenness, it's all sort of symmetrical on that part of the model. You've also got the tanks there as well on the side of the model, and you can also see there's various details on the top there, like the dome, the sort of that part two of the dome. You've got the whistle, we've got the funnel there as well with the copper cap. You've also got the handrails, there's sort of various details on the side of the tank, that sort of sticky up part, and the tank filler caps there as well. On one side of the cab you have the Westinghouse brake pump, as you can see, which is quite a nice finely moulded piece, and on the other side you've also got these sort of cab handrails there, and you can see inside there's a lot of wiring there, and I believe that wiring is for the sort of, I think it's a PCB, I'm not too sure, but if I bring out Rodney again you can see on mine it's just sort of on top of the motor. That's because the body is a lot taller compared to the Terrier one, which means it has enough space to sort of fit in the body, whereas this one has to go in the cab, so there isn't much cab detail there. You do have the glazing pieces, which are all one piece, but you might struggle to get in any detail in there, or crew. You might have to have them hanging out, but you can see there's also weight there, which goes into the coal bunker, and you've got a nice bit of moulded coal in there. You've also got the number plate there, and also the sort of toolbox at the back. You've also got around the sort of cab windows, you've got the nice grills there as well. On my particular version there is a walk-in plate, not as bad as the pannier tank or the Terrier that they have in this livery on their website, which is really bad. Have a look on the Res of Sheffield website, which is where I bought it from. They have a really bad running plate, but you've obviously got the wheels and the coupling rods, as well as I think the brake rodding and these various, I think, sanding gear there as well. On the cab you've got the number plate there, which is 643, but you don't have any number plate, interestingly, on this particular version. You can also see all the lining around the sort of bunker, toolbox, cab, the also Westinghouse brake pump and the cab handrails. You've also got lining on the boiler there. You can also see you've got a bit of a gap under the boiler, which is actually quite nice. You've also got the copper cap chimney, but however that is just painted on, whereas some other models, like a £4 body I bought, has a much more better one. Granted this one does have paint on, but that's because I painted it. That looks a lot better, and that is actually sort of a proper metal one compared to the other one. Now, some of the images I saw early on almost seem to have that, so I don't know, I'm a bit confused about that. It doesn't look that good to me. And you've also got sort of loads of lining. You've got the sort of silver on the, and gold on the sort of cab whistle, and the various pipework on the sort of dome. Obviously the dome's brown. You've got a bit of black on the sort of vent, I think it's tank vents and sort of handrail knobs, but you also got your silver wire, which I think is alright for this livery, but if you got the BR black one and you're weathering it heavily, I don't think it looked too good. You've also got the white roof there, which has a bit of overspray of paint there, because you can see it sort of on the back of the cab, which I don't think looks too good. But also you've got the cab grills there and the gold sort of stuff on there, which looks really good, really. More lining on the back of it there, and you've also got the number plate, which says 643, as you can see from there, and you've also got all the details. So you've got the brown wheels, which on the axles are painted over, but they've sort of come off, the sort of painters sort of gone away. You can also see the pickups in there, and you've got quite nicely painted wheels, if I'm honest. I think overall this is a very small loco, and I think it's a good price, really. In terms of running, it's a pretty decent runner, I'd say. Not all the time, it doesn't like particularly slow speeds, but I guess that's alright for a small 060, very small 060 tank engine. Now, this has been running, and traction and wheels have all been cleaned, so this is probably what you run out of the box. Now, it does run fairly alright, as you can see. It does stall occasionally though, and you sort of have to push it or whack the sort of baseboard, but it does work at decently low speeds if you sort of have probably good enough traction like mine. But it does run fairly well at decent speeds, though I think the track joint isn't helping it. I think I might need to fix that. But if you get it sort of at a slightly higher speed, it's alright. However, the speed is very fast. I think it's far too fast to really what actually this loco could do in real life. Really, it's quite fast. Now, compared to Rodney here, which I think is actually an earlier chassis, because it's faster, but it doesn't run as well. That's because it's one of the wires broken, has to be resoldered, but I think that's because it's a chassis rather than when the wires are exposed, rather than being in an actual model. But it runs alright. It's probably similar in performance. The crawl's probably worse, and it's faster as well, which is probably why the crawl is worse, also combined with the fact that one of the wires is broken. But it is very fast, as you can see. Not as fast as the M7, but still quite fast. The haulage capacity, this loco weighs 20 grams and has all-wheel drive, and it could pull 6 coaches, these 6 coaches you see here, which for such a small loco is quite good. Now, Rodney actually has the same weight, and he can do all the same sort of haulage capacity. However, it isn't sort of a particularly good test, because some coaches are more drag heavy than others. For example, these sort of Marshall coaches, these ones here, for example. I think overall this loco is a very good loco, because it's got in a very nice unusual pre-grouping livery, particularly in N-gauge. I like all the lining on it. There's a few particular fonts. For example, maybe the boiler's slightly warped, and perhaps the running plate as well, and also the wheels sort of axles being covered up. But with a price of £74.50 off Rails of Sheffield, which is where I bought it from, it's not a bad bargain for sort of the size of the loco and the quality, especially seeing as the livery is very good, and it's one of the very few pre-grouping livery locos in N-gauge, because the only other pre-grouping livery I can think of is the Batman C-Class, and I think that's very hard to get because they produce so few of them. And overall, I would recommend this loco a lot, because it's a cheap price and a nice unusual livery available. Thank you for watching this video by me. Please like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below for some video ideas or feedback. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.